Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Today we have with us Scottie Durrett, and Scottie is all about ending mom martyrdom, one mom at a time. She is a certified health and life coach, a speaker, creator, and host of the Momplex podcast, and mom of three. Welcome to the show, Scottie. I can hardly wait to chat with you about all these things.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So what made you decide to get started? Let's just start with health and life coach, because they're not the same thing. They're two different coaching certifications. So let's start there.
Let's start there. Well, it truly has to go back to me living as a mommy martyr myself. And I had a breakdown, so to speak. I call it my laundry basket epiphany, where I was going through the stay-at-home mom trifecta of duties, and my body just collapsed on me. I think I had been ignoring a lot of signals, physical signals, that I wasn't really doing as well internally as I thought, or I was pretending to be. I was living the I'm fine life, even though deep down inside I was not. And in that moment, I realized it was my aha moment. I said, I don't have all the answers, but I know I cannot stay here, because this isn't the dream that I thought, that like, this isn't how I thought I would feel as a mom. I deserve better. My kids deserve better. And from that point on, the first step I did was just start researching. I started to get curious about my physical health, my mental health, my spiritual health. And through that journey, I started to have other conversations with other moms, and I realized I'm not the only one that's feeling this way. As soon as I started sharing my story, other moms started saying, I'm so glad you're saying that, because that happened to me, or I've had that same thought. And I actually started my podcast first because I thought, gosh, if I can just start reaching more moms, then we can lean on each other. We can become such a strong support system, a strong community to help each other through some of these ups and downs and challenges. And I started getting questions from moms saying, hey, that sounds great, but how? I need some guidance. And so I went back to school and I decided to get my health and life coaching certification. I chose to do both because our mental and spiritual health is so tightly connected to our physical health. And I wanted to be able to help my moms, full body, inside and out. And so that's truly how that came to be. And it's tremendously helpful for me as well. I benefit from everything I'm doing for my clients. I do for myself. I walk the talk 100%.
That's awesome. And it's so true. All of the things, we're whole beings. And I love the holistic approach. It really just means everything all together. Yeah. We're not just like bodies, and we're not just what we think, and we're not just, what we do, and how we travel through each day. It combines all of the pieces. And as moms, it's, I've had 5 kids. I know where you're at.
You kids, superwoman, man.
I had them in 2 batches. So once wasn't enough. So I did it again. I had 2 kids, and then I had 3 kids. So, and those moms that have 5 kids, like within a couple of years of each other, they're just like, it's years before they peel back the
Mm-hmm.
hat of like,
Mm-hmm.
who am I and
Who
what am
am
I
I?
doing in life? Because when you have three kids, that's at least 6 and probably 9 years that you're dealing with really young
Mm-hmm.
human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't really appreciate that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
especially people that only have maybe one kid or
Mm-hmm.
even two kids. By the time you get to three kids, you don't have enough hands for all of them.
Mm-hmm. True.
And your purchases, like I had to get a different car.
Different car. Travel,
And
right? Like how much more different rooms, seats on the plane, My husband and I say we went from man to zone, right? And
yeah,
it's always been shocking to me through evolution why moms did not all of a sudden grow more arms, honestly, because
right.
we need a kid in one arm, the grocery bag in the other, a plant, a backpack, and the car keys and your coffee, right? It's always, I'm like, we should have at least another arm here.
At least one,
At
if not
least one.
more.
At least one.
I had two growing out the back and can fit some eyeballs back there too while you're at it.
360. We need
Yeah,
360 support here.
yeah, yeah. So it's
Yeah.
really easy. I can, for women to just get lost
Yeah.
in motherhood and you forget about your friends. Heck, showering.
Yeah.
Showering is a big deal. I mean,
Yeah.
because, when you're younger, showering every day is like, yeah, it's just something that you do. And then you have kids and it's like nap time. And then you get more than one kid and nap time becomes a schedule.
Yeah.
Can I get them all to sleep at the same time?
Right.
Because
Right.
when you got a 2-year-old, unless you've taken him in the shower with you, you can't leave them.
No. No.
Get
What are
into
you going to do?
something.
Yeah. And it's what, that feeling when, okay, you're just waiting for your whole day for that nap time, that break. So you're saving all of the things you need and want to do in that supposed 45 minutes, hopefully 90 minutes. And what would happen to me is I'd put all this pressure on my kids to have this incredible nap. What happened? 20 minutes into the nap, they started crying. They weren't really they needed something else. And that would just break me down, right? Because I had been counting on that nap time. And then you realize it's not a schedule. They're humans with willpower, bodily functions and needs, right? But yeah, that kind of 10-year period truly where you are learning how to keep another human being alive. The stakes have never been higher. And I could not have been more insecure because I didn't know truly what I was doing. There's no manual. And so you just push yourself harder and harder, copying maybe what other people are doing or what other friends have told you. And like you said, the lost really hit me because not only did I feel lost physically, I hadn't taken care of myself. I'd lost touch with myself. I didn't even know my own voice anymore. I was so out of connection with what I wanted. And you even just mentioned it. How do I want to feel? How do I feel? I didn't ask myself that question for a decade. And
Yeah.
it's easy to forget, right? Because you're raising children. You're doing all this for someone or something that you love more than life itself. So it justifies it, right?
And you want so much for them.
Yeah.
You put so much pressure on yourself. I homeschooled the last three. And so I had all this pressure of like, am I good enough? Can I
Yeah.
really do this? And
Yeah.
to be honest, I homeschooled them because I was too lazy to get up and get them to school. Okay.
I
So
love
there
the
it is.
honesty. I
Cleared it
love the
up.
honesty.
But I had people around me are like, yeah, I know your kids they're gonna suffer so badly and they're gonna be weird. And you're like, well, I hope not, but I'm doing it anyway.
Doing it
And
anyway. That's the best.
you just keep going through. And I'm happy to say on the other end, all 5 of my kids are amazing human beings. They're very productive. The last 3 did end up going to high school, to an alternative school
Love
that they
that.
have around here that was really amazing. And I mostly did it so they could have that piece of paper that said, I graduated. Um,
Yeah.
but they did amazingly well in the school. I mean, they made A's. all the way through it. And it really actually validated me that, I did okay with that to get up to
Of
that
course you
point.
did. Yeah.
But, if you're a mom out there and you're homeschooling, go in the bathroom, give yourself a pep talk.
Yeah,
Right on the
absolutely.
mirror, I am the best teacher ever
I
because
love it.
I am their mom and I know them better than anybody else.
Love it. Love it. I am enough. And I love your story because that's actually what I encourage more of, right? What makes sense for you and your family? Nobody knows that better than you. No book you read. I love self-help books. I love asking advice. I love having a support system. But when it's all said and done, we truly know what's best for us and what's best for our family. And I love and encourage for people leading in that way, even if it looks different, right? Even if it's different from
Yeah.
what your friends are doing or what was done before you. And I know that's scary, right? I mean, it's scary to be the one mom on the block who is homeschooling their kids, and people got a lot of grief over that during COVID, just parents choosing not to put their kids back in.
Mhm.
And I'm like, gosh, we need to stop judging each other and actually go ask questions. Why? Why does that make sense for your family? I want to learn more because I think that's what's causing so much burnout for moms, truly.
Yeah, moms, they try to do everything and they have this image in their head about this is what perfection looks like instead of just saying, hey, this is how it is today and embracing it. When
Yeah.
I was homeschooling, I'll tell you, it was more like unschooling. The last one, and my youngest, she would go in and out of the school systems. She wanted to go to school really badly. She's the youngest of five and an only child. We joke about that because she had two older brothers and they're all 3 years apart. So her two older brothers they were tight. They were always out doing stuff, but they didn't really want their younger sister tagging along. So she was my only child. The other two are much older. There's like 21 years between my oldest and my youngest.
Yeah.
So she when we got to the end with her, it was like, okay, Sarah, these are the things you need to know, and
Mm,
this is where you can find that information.
love
I'm
it.
hoping you get it done. I'm not checking up on you.
Great.
And
Great.
whether you get it done or not, I never graded anything, ever.
Ah, I love that because now she not only realizes that she can self motivate, self soothe, self discover, but she in her subconscious in the back of her mind knows that you believe in her and that you trust her and she has a good head on her shoulders. What now that's with her in everything that she does, right? Versus us doing everything for them. And you
Yeah.
also let her decide what's my pace? What's my interest? Like, where would I go first if I could do it all on my own? Right. And I think that's something a lot of us don't learn because we're immediately told, hey, get in line. Hey, do this, go here, stand here. And, there's some good, I appreciate some rules for safety, but combined with that, we have to give them space for exactly what you just created for her growth, opportunity, self-education, right? I love that.
I'll tell you a little bit more in that they all three graduated when they were 16 years old from high school with their
Amazing.
certificate, their little
That
piece
piece
of
of
paper.
paper.
And Sarah's senior project was to get her black belt in karate. So she's now like a third degree black belt, but she did that the whole time she was growing up. The boys did karate for like a year or so, and she was too little, and the guy's like, no. And so I always told her, you're going to be a black belt cheerleader. And she ended up meeting her best friend. They're still BFFs. And her mom was a karate instructor. And so she just took Sarah along. Meadow is Sarah's other sister.
Love that name.
So,
Love it.
yeah, the first time I met Meadow, she told me her Aunt Jen had told her how to spell her name, and it was to the song of Bingo. Meadow, and Meadow is my name. She was like 3 years old,
That's cute.
long black braids and big blue eyes.
I love that. I love that because look at her. You created a place for her to go discover what interests her, what pulled her, what were her desires, right? And that's our greatest compass. And then she found her people. I love that. I love that. My daughter's the same way. I've got a 17-year-old daughter and then 15-year-old boy, 11-year-old boy. And my daughter, I she just I learned early on that the way I did life, I played soccer, I loved group sports, I was very social. That didn't work for her. And I tried in the beginning, right? Because I was insecure trying to fit in, and I tried to force her into stuff, and we had to deal with that, and it didn't work out. And I realized she's now in online school at home, and she is a horseback rider. I never had any connection to horses, but she was in therapy, and the therapist said, "Have you ever thought about putting her around animals?" And I thought, okay, sure. Yeah, we'll bring her around animals. And they got together. You could almost see the energetic connection that happened between her and this horse. And that's when she was 7. She's been riding ever since. Now she's a competitive rider. She wants to ride in college. This is like her dream, and her people. She finally found, like, she calls it her briar patch. I never could have created that if I had tried to make her fit into what had worked for me, or my, little, this is how you fit into it. And there's just, they're, even though they're our kids, they come out, they are people, right? That we need to get to know, right? And get to learn about.
And let them teach us.
Let them
'Cause
teach
they have
us.
so much
Yeah.
that they can, there's a give and take
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
relationship. And
Yeah.
if you can just relax enough to let it happen, it makes it so special.
It does. And so much
So,
easier.
yeah. Yeah.
Easier.
It took me a long time. I can look back and say, oh, just do this.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you're in it,
It's hard.
it's hard.
It's hard.
And that's kind of where you come in, right?
That's where I come in. Because I'm same as you. I have to say, 10 solid years, I lived for my kids. I wasn't living with them, right? I put a lot of pressure on them to be my source of purpose, identity, and happiness. And I put a lot of pressure on us to play the part, to look the role, to create that perfect family, right? The perfect holiday card, the perfect, event, the perfect grades in school. And that's ultimately, it was like a house of cards that I was trying so hard to hold together. And, I was so exhausted, but it's understandable. And that's where I come in to let a mom know it's okay. You're not doing anything wrong. Nobody needs to be fixed here. It's just give yourself some chances to ask questions. How do you feel? Do you like the way that you feel? What would you like to be experiencing? How can we make that happen too? It's not about changing your whole life and, starting over from scratch. It's about how can we come in and have you consider yourself as a part of this as well, right? You're here to live with your family. You're here to, you chose to be a mom in whatever way you've become a mom. That's amazing. That's what an amazing adventure. And I want to help moms realize that they have a place there and that they're doing incredible. They don't, it's just what you said. I'm the best teacher. I'm the best guide. I'm exactly what my kids need right this moment. Nothing else needs to happen except me just be with them. And I think there's so much liberation and freedom in that. But it's good for us, these conversations, for moms listening, to hear someone else has felt this. Someone else has thought this. I'm not alone. Okay, there isn't anything wrong with me. It's okay if I want to feel better. It's going to, and I think allowing themselves to give themselves that permission,
It's okay to have your own interests.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you don't have to do all the things that your husband enjoys. I mean, it's nice when you have things that you enjoy together, but you don't have to, you're allowed to pursue things that are interesting to you.
Yeah.
And maybe your kids don't even like them. That's
Yeah.
okay.
That's okay. That's okay. I thought it was really important for my kids to see that I did have a life outside of them. That, one, I wasn't there at their beck and call, but that they also were not responsible for my happiness. I want my kids to be able to walk out the door and not have to look over their shoulder and think, "Ooh, if I leave, is mom going to be okay? If I go get into a relationship or leave town to go to school or try something different, is she going to be okay that I'm not with her?" I didn't want to be that added weight on them. And so I was like, my source of happiness has to come from me, and I get to
Mhm.
share that with my kids, but I have to go find that, right? And I did, for a long time, I didn't know what lit me up. And I had to admit that, the word lost is so important. It's easy to lose touch. What does light you up? What does bring you joy? What does interest you? And it's really exciting to learn that again. It's really exciting to kind of date yourself and to treat yourself like your best friend. If your friend came to you and
Yeah.
said, I'm not doing well, you'd say, what can we do? How can I help you? This is a priority. I want moms to think of themselves that way too.
Yeah, the word boundaries comes to mind for me.
That's a
Boundaries
big
is
one.
it's a big one, and you need boundaries for yourself.
You do.
When you recognize I'm I'm willing to do all of these things, but I have boundaries. Like, and as your kids get older, you need to help them understand, you need to respect their boundaries as they create them so that they learn to respect other people's boundaries. And they learn to, you teach them all the skills, but you need to release things to them as they're getting older. I have a story about my middle son when I was trying to teach him how to do the laundry. I hated laundry,
I do too.
and I do laundry once a week.
Oh, good for you. Because it could if you let it, it could happen every day. If you let it.
Oh yeah. And when you have kids, it's like a never ending. I have a friend who has 8 kids, and for the longest time, her laundry room was just like this piles and piles of stuff. Because there's bedding and there's towels and there's clothes, and in the summertime you've got more clothes because you're going to put on your bathing suit, take off your bathing suit, put on a different pair of clothes because
Oh yeah.
it's just like it was a never ending.
Never ending.
And so I take him downstairs and I explain everything, and then he goes downstairs and starts his laundry, and he comes back upstairs and he's like, I don't understand where to put the soap in. He put all his laundry in the dryer. Got to start with this machine. To this day, I
my
don't know if he
gosh.
did that on purpose or not, but it was hilarious.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, I love that. Our laundry room looked exactly like your friends. So, I have 3 kids and 2 dogs. We live in horse country. We're just tons of dirt. So like you said, it's just constant. And then I taught my teenagers how to do laundry, and I said, it's yours. You can handle this. It's yours. The laundry cut in half, 2/3. Now they're thinking
Yeah.
about it before they just put on the shirt to see if that's what they want to wear, or they don't want to wear it. So where do they put it in the hamper? Now they're like, wait a second. I might not fold it, but I think I'm going to put it back in my closet. As soon as they started to realize, wait a second, there is no laundry fairy. The laundry doesn't just magically show up in the drawer. It did for a long time, a long, long part of their life. But when they were old enough, I was like, you guys, you can handle this. And then the laundry completely cut in half. It was delightful.
Yeah, it's like the magic moment.
Yeah, I loved it. But I
And
love what you were saying about the boundaries. Not only is it good for us to set our boundaries, because we can feel it. We can feel the physical and emotional boundaries. Our body already knows where we have limits. And that protects our energy. Moms are always coming to me saying, I need more energy, I need more time, I need more support. Absolutely. We can have all of those things, but we have to start giving that to ourselves. That's not something we wait for, right? We have to create it through boundaries. And then, like you said, with my kids, they know I'm so passionate about my podcast, my work, a beautiful boundary around my work. And they know that, so it's they respect that. They don't come barging in the door. They wait. And I think that's so respectful, and vice versa. I don't go barging into their door either. It's a very beautiful reciprocation. And I think, to your point, they'll take that with them. And when they have relationships and future encounters in their business and their friends, they'll always have that in the back of their head. Right? Boundaries are good. Boundaries are healthy. This is good communication. This is going to help us thrive. This is going to help us become stronger. And so, to your point, boundaries are a massive part of what I work on with my moms. Yeah.
Yeah. And while we may recognize them, your point about you, they're not going to magically appear.
No.
You have to know what they are for yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to, you don't have to like go out and yell at everybody, oh, you're not respecting my boundaries. That's not the answer, but letting people know, hey, this is the space I'm creating for myself,
Yeah.
and I need that time.
Yeah.
You'll like me better. I
Yeah.
promise you.
You
You just
promise.
give me this time now.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that's helped me a lot, and I know moms have a lot of mom guilt, especially when it comes to setting boundaries and taking time for themselves. When I share why I need that space, I say, hey, I need space to go on a walk, or I need, mom's going to go in her room and read, or I'm going to go work on my podcast. I say, because I have a dream. I need, this makes me feel good. This is part of my goal. And when they feel like they're included, and they're
Yeah.
privy and they know why, then they don't feel excluded and they don't have that panic of, where's mom? I need mom. When they understand like, oh, I'm supporting my mom. My 11-year-old, I have a goal of drinking a lot of water every single day. And I have this fun container and it's always in the fridge. He comes home from school every day and checks it. And he says, Mom, you are not drinking enough water. You need to hurry it up. And I love it. He feels like he's my accountability partner. And so when I bring them in on my goals and my dreams and they learn about me, it becomes so much more of you're a team. And then I've noticed that the mom guilt has really dialed down because I don't feel it's like it's out there. The communication, the understanding, the boundary, they feel like they're included, and it's really taken that away and it's made it so much easier to ask for what you need, you know?
Yeah. When you're not feeling like you have to be the person on top,
Yeah.
they're the people down below and they need to fit into these little molds, and it takes the pressure off of everybody.
Yeah, it does.
Moms, a lot of the reason that we get into this mom guilt and this mom martyrdom is that we're trying to be something that we fundamentally aren't, because of some program that we've run through our minds or allowed to keep going through our minds that said we have to behave in this way,
Yeah.
or we're just not the people that we're supposed to be.
Yes. The supposed to, the shoulds, right? The have tos. And that is the definition, the burnout is we're doing too much of what isn't aligned, too much of what doesn't light us up and what drains us, and not enough of what does. And, I think for you with your daughter, and your kids being homeschooled, you were still just as much of a mom. You still were present and loving and caring with the same amount of care and love and attention. You were just doing it your way. And maybe that looked a little less traditional, but that allowed you to nurture your family in the way that made sense for y'all, which ultimately protects a lot of people's energy. And to your point, then you're not being someone you're fundamentally not, which is so hard and so exhausting. I mean, and so how could you not beat yourself up? Because we cannot be someone that we're not, but we're trying so hard. And then we end up with all that shame and your head hits the pillow at night and you're like, I don't even know what I have to show for today. I just am stressed and I'm exhausted and I can't believe I have to do it tomorrow,
And then
and
you can't sleep.
then you can't sleep. You're tossing and turning. Your partner's probably snoring.
My
But
partner was like driving a truck, so he was always gone.
he's all gone. Oh my gosh, 5 kids and he was always gone. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it was just the three
Oh
at the
yeah,
end.
the 2
But
older.
the two older ones were gone and out of the house and in their 20s and starting lives of their own, and they've
Amazing.
done amazingly well. I'm on the other end. I can look back and say, just enjoy the process. It's only a season.
Yeah.
Each period you're going through, it'll be gone before you know it. So stop beating yourself up about it.
Yeah.
Just embrace it.
Yeah.
Love your babies.
Love your babies and love
It's okay if
yourself,
you sit
you know?
and
Yeah.
and read your book and read to them, or just even if you just want to watch television, it's
It's
okay,
okay.
girl.
It's okay.
Just sit down and watch binge on something. It's
Yeah.
all right.
It's okay.
You're you're allowed to be a human being and do the things that you want to do.
Mm. In fact, and that's going to help you show up as you, which is what your kids want anyway. You know,
Yeah.
they just want you. They just want you. And one of the things I used to drive, I still do, but a lot of driving around, so much carpool. We can spend a lot of time in the car. Very stressful place for me, a lot of road rage over bad drivers, and just spending a lot of time in the car, you can feel frustrated because it's kind of wasted, right? And a lot of fights happened in the car. And one of the things I realized was that their music was really triggering for me. I didn't love all the songs that my kids were playing. And so I finally said, we're making a deal. I get a song, you get a song. I get a song, you get a song. So not only did that help lower my stress, then they started to learn about me, what kind of music I liked. Why did I like that kind of music? And then we started having conversations about concerts I went to when I was a kid. And then they started asking me more questions. Mom, what were you like when you were my age? And, then there other things started happening in that car that had nothing to do with racing to get to the activity, or somebody spilled their goldfish, or, siblings fighting in the back. Now it's one of my favorite things. I looked forward to it. I love it. It's this great cocoon. We just start talking and getting to know each other. And I realized, gosh, they want to learn about me that has nothing to do with them. They're so fascinated with my life before I became a mom, and they're fascinated with what interests me now. And I think it's easy for us to forget that, right? Because we get into such an autopilot of checking everything off the to-do list. And we think, gosh, if I check everything off the to-do list, then I am the perfect mom. Then I have done everything I'm supposed to do for my kids. But we forget that we are actually, there's a part of us that needs to be behind all of that, right? That I believe I'm my mom's kid for a reason. I believe that they were given to me for a reason, and they deserve to know me. They deserve to know my quirks and my humor and my sarcasm and what music I like. Because if I show that I am me and I still have a life outside of them, then they are going to love their uniqueness, and they're going to realize that they can also have their likes and their interests, and it doesn't have to match mine. And I think that
Yep.
I love our drives now. And now I've introduced my kids to all sorts of classic rock, and it's super fun, and we have a blast.
We do that around the holiday tables. We
Yeah,
still do that around the holiday tables. After the meal, we break out the phones and everybody goes around and plays their favorite song.
I love it.
And
I love it.
it's just fun.
It's
My
fun.
husband's a music head. He loves music, all kinds of music. I mean, he and my sons are just like, did you hear this person or that person?
I love it.
And
It's such a connection, it's such a fun
yes.
personal connection. I love it. Yeah. We have dance parties in the kitchen. They don't do it as much anymore because, now they're 17 and 15. But, even as we were cleaning up the kitchen, I would just blast music and we would all just dance around. Music has just been such a fun way for us to, I don't know, we just kind of let our hair down a little bit, and I love that. I love your tradition around the table. That's awesome.
I think music connects us
Yeah, I
in a lot
agree.
of ways.
Yeah.
What you listen to everything has a vibration, and
Mhm.
you all vibrate at the same frequency for a little while, and
I love that. I love
it
that.
feels good.
It does feel good.
So how do people work with you?
So the majority is just one-on-one clients, and I typically
Mhm.
work with moms, for around 1 month all the way up to 6 months. It really kind of depends on what their challenge is, what their struggle is. And when I say life, I truly mean that. There is everything matters, and if there's an area where she feels stuck, that's important. And there's nothing too small or nothing too, you know, consuming. I think it's always our life and our body communicating with us, right? To let us know, hey, I need some extra attention here. And that's truly what I help moms do. It's a lot of times when moms come to me, they really haven't talked to anybody for a very long time. And so for the first time, they truly feel heard and seen. And I love giving them guidance. And it's helpful that I've gone through it. And I truly take them through things that I went through and what I've learned in my certification. But it is a personal journey, and there is no one size fits all, which makes me so happy because our lives are so different, and what we need at certain stages, that's what's going to help us thrive. And I truly believe when we thrive, when we're looking after ourselves, that allows our kids to do the same. And, for a long time, I truly believed that to be the best mom, I had to sacrifice myself. Now I know that to be the best version of me, I have to love myself, and loving myself actually is loving my kids. And so in the work, we are talking about everything from, morning and nighttime routines to how you're speaking to yourself, how you're feeding yourself, how you are loving yourself. Is there joy in your day? How's your communication with your partner? And there's so much of this. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if there is an area of your life that feels stuck and feels just a little disconnected, even if you can ignore it for a little bit, it will start to trickle into other areas of your life. So I always say, start with just that one thing. Gosh, if you could wave a magic wand and, what would you want your life to look like and feel like? And how do you want to show up? You can have that. You can have your magic wand life, which makes me so excited because I know what gift that is for you and this time with your children. And like you said, it goes by so fast. My 17-year-old, we're starting college conversations. I really truly feel like I just got her through kindergarten graduation.
I,
It's why so fast.
I know.
Oh.
It's just like, I don't know what happened twice. And now I've got grandkids. I have a
Oh,
granddaughter who's 17. She'll be graduating next year. And
yeah,
it's just like, God, I'm
amazing.
sure you were just 5
I'm
yesterday.
sure. I'm
I'm
sure.
sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so I typically work with moms one-on-one, and that's really where we can have such an amazing, it's a very personal relationship. It's a very high touch, high support, non-judgmental, this is a very safe space. And it was truly what I needed. And I've created what I truly needed in my life. And I'm so happy that we're now having these kinds of conversations. This is, it's so important for us moms to say how we're feeling and to really share with how we are doing, what's working for us, what's not working for us. How can we learn from each other? How can we support each other? We're a part of the most amazing club,
And support, not compete.
Support.
We've
Not
been
compete.
trained for so many years to compete with each other. My kid did this and he's hit this milestone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You kept him alive another day, doing great, and
Yes.
encouraging each other. If I could give one piece of advice, and I do try to practice this with my daughters-in-law, and it's just encourage them. You're doing a good job. They're not starving. They're wonderful people because they're your kids.
Yep.
Just keep going. Just
Keep
love
going.
them. That's
I
all
love
they
that.
need from you. They will learn the rest of the stuff. And
Yeah.
you don't have to compete with anybody else because your kid is unique, just like you.
Yep. So good. Yes. Gosh, if we could, the judging and the competing and the FOMO and the, ego driven, just it's natural. It's normal. It will always be there. The fear and the self-doubt, the comparison. But it's good to acknowledge it as
Mhm.
long as it's not running the show,
Yeah.
and yeah, I love that. It's also very freeing. It's very relaxing when you're not comparing yourself to other people, I have to say.
Yeah. And it's nice when you can look at other people and appreciate what they've accomplished
100%.
and not feel like you have to do it too. It's okay.
Absolutely. It's
You
okay.
can just admire what they did.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I'm so proud of you that you were able to get your kid to learn to play that piano piece.
Amazing. I can't wait to listen.
That's,
I can't wait to
yeah,
listen.
I can't wait to listen. I'm not really all that interested in sending my kid to piano lessons
No.
and all the work that it takes to get them to practice if they do
Yeah.
practice. I was never really good at you have to practice 3 hours
No.
a day.
It takes
I mean,
it.
like in passing.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like with the way you, even with your daughter, you'll get the assignments done. I believe in you. Amazing. And look at her. She just constantly keeps challenging herself and growing and learning. That's what we want. I love that. Yeah.
She's a baker now, and she's happy in her life. She's
So good.
content,
Love that.
which is, she's had other jobs and she's done other things, but she really likes what she's doing. It's not the best paying job ever, and it doesn't have great career potential, but she enjoys it.
Love it. I love that.
That's what she's doing.
If we can wake up and enjoy what we're doing and feel good most of the time,
Mhm.
that's going to help us handle whatever life is throwing out at us. Right. Yeah. I love that. That's I admire you. I admire you. You're a good mama. That's awesome.
It's taken me a long time to get here. I haven't always been like this.
Same.
So, Scottie, this has been a great conversation.
Thank you for having me. You're very easy and enjoyable to talk to. It's really, really nice. You create such a great space.
Well, thank you. I really enjoy getting to chat with all of the coaches that bring their amazing gifts to the table and share.
So good.
I really am grateful that people like you are out there helping others, because I think that we're making a big difference in the world.
I do too. I believe that. I truly feel it in my core. And like I say, it's just one mom at a time. Gosh, what a ripple effect. You think about when you're a coach and you're helping, gosh, if I just can help this one person and myself, think about all that we're touching, that energy you were talking about. Like, we do vibrate at a higher energy. And it just is such a gift. I feel so lucky that I get to learn that and share that and help other people. It's wonderful.
Yeah. So what's the one thing that you hope the audience takes away from this conversation today?
Oh, there's a lot of things, but truly, I want a mom to know that loving herself is loving her kids, and that if she treats herself like her own best friend, life is going to get easier. Raising her kids is going to get easier. You're just going to you're going to love the way that you feel, and your kids they're going to learn that. And that's the most beautiful lesson, right? When we love ourselves and we can teach our kids that that's a wonderful relationship, they'll have that forever.
Yeah. I love that. And people can get a hold of you on your website, which is
my name. It's just Scottie Durrett, and SCOTTIEDURRETT.com. And Instagram, which is also just at Scottie Durrett. I'm on there every day. My DMs are always open. I'm always there ready to help, love, and support. And I would just very safe. I get it. I like moms. I get it. I understand. I'm here for you. Truly.
Go stalk Scottie
In
a good way. Over on Instagram and get to know her, and then reach out to her. If don't struggle alone. There's no need for that anymore.
No.
Those days are gone.
They're over. They're over. Let's thrive together, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Love
for
that.
Sure. Thanks for joining me, Scottie.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the You World Order, or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.